Hey, Mark, Shepard, ModernJedi.com, and I'm here with a couple of practice building tips. One is that sometimes, and I talked about this in the last video, and you might want to check that out, but sometimes you need to decide whether you're going to have an office in your home or an office in, kind of an outside business office setting. And that's really important, and you can try it both ways and see how it works, right? Whichever works best for you and the kinds of clients that you're working with. Today, though, my tip is really all about how to evaluate someone who you don't want to work with. And here's the biggest red flag. I got an email from a guy the other day, and he was like, please help me with my anxiety. I'm freaking out. And he made a list of all his physical ailments and all the different things he'd tried to fix them, right? So it was like everything from indigestion to his eyes were crossed. I don't know. It was just like so many things. He had so many physical maladies. It was like very clear that this guy was kind of really working through some significant stuff, right? But the red flag was not that he had all these maladies, because if someone has kind of psychosomatic illnesses, that's something, once we hook them in with the power of their own mind, they can begin to clear those quite rapidly. I mean, I've had tremendous results, particularly even like with allergies, of people clearing them. One of my students, Will Wood, who actually gave me some testimonials on the site, Will Wood had a extremely dangerous shrimp allergy. And when he was in the Master Practitioner course, we cleared that, right? And he now eats shrimp all the time. I mean, this was a life-threatening allergy that is gone, right? So it's not the maladies that would cause you to not work with someone. It's the mindset of this person who's gone from, this, has tried all these other things, and none of it worked. So now they want you to help them, but because they've gone to all these other things, they're out of money now. Would you please help me for free? That's a red flag, because ultimately, if they're not able or willing to pay for your energy, your time, your expertise, it's not a win-win. It's not a win for you, right? And ultimately, that means it's not a win for them, because it has to be a win-win situation, right? So if you get a list, and I've had this over and over again, and I've fallen for it so many times. Well, I saw this hypnotherapist and he couldn't help me, but I'm sure you're better, right? And my ego got pulled right in. Oh yeah, well, I have more training than him. Maybe I can help you. No, it was the client not wanting to take responsibility for their own mind and not wanting to learn how to run their own mind. And most people don't, and that's okay. But that doesn't make most people good clients, right? We want a client who is willing to learn the tools and to apply them and to hold themselves responsible. Once we describe to them how their mind works, and hey, you're thinking this thought, and that thought is sending signals to your neurology, which is creating this physical experience. And when we change the thoughts and the focus, oh my gosh, your body changes. How interesting, right? So those are the kind of clients we want. And here's the other piece, and I was talking to my friend Michael Guerin about this the other day. He had someone who wanted a website done, and they were like, oh, if you give me a good price, I'll send lots of people to you. That's the other red flag. I've had people say, if you help me with my anxiety, I will send all my friends and relatives to you, right? But in every instance, those people, I was not able to help them. Why is that? What's the deal? And so you do not want to get beat up as a practitioner. I mean, this is hard enough work. I mean, it's intense energy work. It's intense mind work. It's intense just being present with another person for an hour, or sometimes I work with people in 3-hour blocks. That's intense work. And you don't want to have that pressure of someone who goes, if you work for me, if you succeed for me, if you help me, then I will bestow upon you all this future business. Ultimately, that is a person who is a control person, and they're in power. They're literally elevating them to a higher status than you. You're the lowly worker. You're the lowly janitor who's going to clean up the mess, right? And ultimately, that's not a position you want to be in. You want to be the one with the power, not because power is inordinately wonderful, but because if you have the power, they will follow your suggestions. But if they have the power, you're going to end up following their suggestions, right? And I am highly suggestible, and I'm also a highly sensitive kind of a guy. My neurology is finely tuned, and so I had to be really careful about who I work with, right? So that's one tip for you today, to build a practice that is sustainable and empowered and powerful for you as well as for your clients. Sometimes you have to be a little picky, a little choosy. You have to decide whether someone is a good fit for you or not. And it's, yeah, you might not make the money, but you'll save yourself a lot of hassles and a lot of pain and aggravation by saying no. Now, previously, I talked about a woman who chose to not work with me because she didn't realize that I worked out of my home and she didn't feel comfortable doing that. And I offered to make another appointment for her when she could bring her boyfriend. And of course, the day I offered her is tomorrow, and I have not heard back from her. So she probably will not return. And that's okay, because I probably don't want to work with her. So this is not a place where there's, for me, I'm not a black and white person. I'm a shades of gray person, right? As you'll learn in the Master Practitioner course. So I have to kind of, and I'm highly kinesthetic, I've got to feel my way through it, right? I'm not Mr. Auditory Digital always, and sometimes you have to tune into your feelings. Am I feeling a little uneasy about this person? If so, honor that and say no, all right? You as a practitioner of NLP, you have a right to say no to whoever you don't want to work with, just like a client may not feel comfortable working with you. So it's really, in your marketing, you want to set it up where there's a certain process of getting to know each other so that you can make sure it's a good fit. You as a coach, them as a person who is being coached. And I like the coaching model because it's, it's less about me fixing someone, right? It's more about me teaching them how to get a better result, and then they have to do it, right? So that's it for today. ModernJedi.com, and I hope you'll join me for my next NLP practitioner or master practitioner training, and check it out. Talk to you soon. Thanks.